Hey, it's Tyron here again. I just wanted to follow up my last video about the saturated fat and cholesterol myth related to heart disease. Um, so hope you're ready for some more facts. Hope you won't be bored. So again, last video just shared about how the hypothesis that was proposed in 1953 called the diet heart hypothesis that said that saturated fat and cholesterol are linked and associated with increase in heart disease and heart-related problems, which has been shown to be an absolute joke. And the last video I read that quote from that American physician and scientist that said that the diet heart hypothesis is going to be known as the biggest deception in this century, if not all centuries. So I just wanted to kind of share a few more points about just the significance of cholesterol in our diet for not only our immune system to be strengthened, not only as an antioxidant, not only as something to help us with our memory, but as you'll see a number of things here I'm just going to read on that's essential for your brain. Just it's essential for our nervous system and how our actual nerve cells communicate and function with each other. So let me just read a few points here, and hopefully it encourages you. She says, oh, sorry again. For those who don't know, the book is Put Your Heart in Your Mouth by Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. She's a physician in London, and she's the author also of the book called GAPS, which stands for Gut and Psychological Syndrome. Psychology syndrome. Okay, so she says almost every cell produces cholesterol all the time during all of our lives. Why? Because every cell of every organ has cholesterol as a part of its structure. Cholesterol is an integral and very important part of our cell membranes, the membranes that make the cell wall and the walls of all the organelles inside the cell. Going specifically on the point about the brain and how essential cholesterol is to the brain, Dr. Natasha points out the human brain is particularly rich in cholesterol. Around 25% of all body cholesterol is taken by the brain. Every cell and every structure in the brain and the rest of our nervous system needs cholesterol, not only to build itself, but also to accomplish its many functions. One of the most abundant materials in the brain and the rest of our nervous system is the fatty substance called myelin. It's also called myelin sheaths. It's with the thing that kind of wraps around all the nerve cells. She says here that, let me just find this point. People who start losing myelin develop a condition called multiple sclerosis, which maybe some of you have heard of. And 20% of myelin is cholesterol. So let's say someone is maybe taking a cholesterol lowering drug. So their body, they're not going to be eating cholesterol because they're told it's not good, so they're going to avoid those foods. They're taking a cholesterol lowering drug, which is going to be lowering the cholesterol that their body is actually making to function. So it's going to be lowering that, which is going to be affecting their nerve cells producing myelin, which is going to be affecting their ability to function properly, which is going to lead to, when you start losing myelin, your body is going to start to, one of the manifestations is multiple sclerosis. So crazily serious, this stuff. I don't think that's a word, but okay, another point she makes here is scientists have discovered that synapse formation is almost entirely dependent on cholesterol. Synapses are basically where one nerve communicates with another nerve. They don't actually touch, but there's a space in the middle called a synapse where a signal comes from one cell, it goes to the end of it, and it releases these neurotransmitters which cross the synapse. It's like a little gap, and then it communicates to this cell, and then it goes that way. So synapse communication between nerves, which you have hundreds of billions of nerves in your whole entire body, are reliant upon cholesterol. Without the presence of this factor called apolipoprotein E, I don't know what that is, but we cannot form synapses. and hence we would not be able to learn or remember anything. Memory loss is one of the side effects of the cholesterol-lowering drugs. Amazing. She also says that if we do not take cholesterol-lowering drugs, most of us don't have to worry about cholesterol. However, there are people whose bodies, for whatever reason, are unable to produce enough cholesterol. These people are prone to emotional instability and behavioral problems. Because essentially, if you're not taking a cholesterol-lowering drug, you don't have to worry about your, the amount of cholesterol you're consuming or your body producing enough cholesterol. For people that are either they can't produce it for whatever reason, or they're taking these cholesterol-lowering drugs, which is going to be bringing down their natural production of cholesterol. Not only the little amount that they eat in their food, but also what their body's producing. She also shows this, which is very important for if anybody is having trouble conceiving, having a child, having problems with fertility. Cholesterol is super important in fertility. So she says, research has discovered that eating full cream dairy products cures infertility in women. Women wanting to conceive should examine their diet. They should consider changing low-fat dairy foods for high-fat dairy foods. For instance, by swapping skimmed milk for whole milk and eating cream, not low-fat yogurt. So again, depending on what you're doing nutritionally, if you're trying to lose weight, we can obviously cut some of your calories down by not eating, everything with fat in it. Okay, so but essentially what we want to do is we don't want to avoid fat altogether because we think it's going to be bad for us or we think we're going to get fat, because you won't get fat by eating fat. Okay, but one of the things in one of my nutrition programs is called the rapid fat loss diet, and what that diet is a short period of time where we're basically limiting and cutting down your calories to the bare minimum. So you get some fat, you get the essential fats, you must take that your body cannot make, which is things like fish oil, krill oil, your omega-3s. We're giving you high protein, we're giving you lots of vegetables, and we're basically cutting out all your carbohydrates. Okay, so in that diet for that particular amount of time, you are cutting down your fats, but just to help your body to accelerate the weight loss through creating as much deficit as you can in your calories. Okay, but again, remember, even though we're cutting out cholesterol for that time period, your body is still going to be producing a massive amount of cholesterol, so you don't need to worry about that. But generally, in general daily life, if you're not trying to lose a lot of body fat, eating cholesterol and saturated fat foods is completely fine. So let's go through a few more points here. Vitamin D is very, very essential. It's my third most important supplement that I recommend all clients and all people take, is a vitamin D3 supplement. You want to take about 8,000 units per day. She says that vitamin D is made from cholesterol in our skin. So the best way to actually get vitamin D is from sun exposure. Now, if anybody lives in the Northern Hemisphere, if anybody's from Vancouver, where I'm from, and you're not getting lots of sunshine this time of year, and even if it is a sunny day, due to the actual tilt of the earth, how the rays hit on the earth, you're not getting a lot of a high dose or a high amount, if you want to call it, of the UVB rays, which is the important rays for producing vitamin D. So if you're not getting a lot of sun exposure and you're not tanning in a safe tanning bed, not an X-ray tanning bed, but a safe tanning bed, if you need any info on that, just let me know. Your third best way is to get it through supplements, through a D3 supplement, not D2. D2 is a synthetic form of vitamin D. You want D3, which is the same form of vitamin D that your body will produce with the sun. So she's saying vitamin D is made from cholesterol in our skin when it's exposed to sunlight. In those times of the year when there isn't much sunlight, we can get this vitamin from cholesterol-rich foods, which I also mentioned in the previous video. Cod liver oil is a good source of vitamin D. Shellfish, fish, butter, lard, and egg yolks are a good source of vitamin D as well. So I personally take 8,000 units of vitamin D a day, just straight vitamin D. I also get 400 in my multivitamin. So I'm getting 8,400. Plus I eat butter, I eat egg yolks, and I eat a little bit of fish. So I'm probably getting maybe close to 9,000 a day. Dr. Mercola, who is a leading doctor in Chicago, who is a big proponent of vitamin D and its importance in our body. He says that in a 20-minute exposure in the sun, if you have about 40% of your skin showing, your body's going to produce anywhere from 10,000 to 40,000 units of vitamin D. So, getting 8,000 or 9,000 is not a problem at all. Okay. So she also points out that as we grow older, our ability to produce vitamin D in our skin under sunlight is considerably diminished. So taking foods rich in vitamin D is particularly important for older people, or supplementing with D3 supplement. She also talks about skin cancer. She says the skin cancer blamed on sunshine is not caused by the sun. Now, isn't that a revelation to probably 90% of people, myself included? It is caused by trans fats, like we talked about in the last video, from vegetable oils and margarines and other toxins stored in the skin. In addition, some of the sunscreens that people use contain chemicals which have been proven to cause skin cancer. So even that in itself, going back to the previous video where I talked about the vegetable oils, the margarines, so things like canola oil, corn oil, soy oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, all these different vegetable oils are damaging to our bodies. Okay, a lot of them on the shelves today, they maybe have refined them, they've used heat, which is damaging to these vegetable oils because they're a polyunsaturated fat. Polyunsaturated fats are not very stable with heat, not very stable with oxygen, so with air, and not very stable with light. Okay, so if they've heated them, they've deodorized them, they've refined them to the 9th degree, they're going to be damaged oils. So if we consume those, they're going to damage us. Okay, so another kind of important point she says here is cholesterol is essential for our immune system to function properly. Animal experiments and human studies have demonstrated that immune cells rely on cholesterol in fighting infections and repairing themselves after the fight. So if you want your immune system to be strong, if you want to not succumb to bacterial infections, colds, flus, viruses, that kind of stuff, cholesterol is going to be a huge thing that's going to help to boost up your immune system and strengthen it. She says this point here is something that's just going to throw out that whole cholesterol theory and that it's bad for you. Especially if anybody knows about the LDL cholesterol, where they say it's the quote unquote bad cholesterol, and the HDL is the quote unquote good cholesterol. She basically debunks that right here. I was quite intrigued when I read this. On top of that, she says LDL, which is low density lipoprotein cholesterol, or so-called bad cholesterol, directly binds and inactivates dangerous bacterial toxins, preventing them from doing any damage in the body. One of the most lethal toxins is produced by a widely spread bacterium, Staphylococcus aureus, which is the cause of MRSA, a common hospital infection. You probably know of the common hospital infection or just infection in general called staph. That's what that's from. It's very hard to deal with, very hard to treat. A lot of antibiotics that bacteria Staphylococcus aureus is resistant to them, so it can be a real problem to get cured from. So she says this. This toxin, so that staph toxin, can literally dissolve your red blood cells, which is a problem. However, it does not work in the presence of LDL cholesterol. People who fall prey to this toxin have low blood cholesterol. It has been recorded that people with high levels of cholesterol are protected from infections. They are 4 times less likely to contract AIDS. They rarely get common colds, and they recover from infections more quickly than people with normal or low blood cholesterol. On the other side of the spectrum, people with low blood cholesterol are prone to various infections, suffer from them longer, and are more likely to die from an infection. So any person suffering from an acute or chronic infection needs to eat high cholesterol foods to recover. Cod liver oil, the richest source of cholesterol after caviar, has been prized as the best remedy for the immune system. So again, cholesterol-rich foods, caviar, cod liver oil, butter, egg yolks, shellfish, cold water fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and also lard. Another point about, just keep in mind here, point about cooking. Preferably, you only want to cook with if you're going to be frying a food or something like that, is to only cook with butter or coconut oil. They're both saturated fats and they're very stable with heat. They won't break down and denature and become damaged fats. So those are the only fats you want to cook with. Any other fat, but there's many fats, if it's not one of those two, don't cook with them. Okay? The good fats to use in general for your diet, for whether it's in salads or anything like that, it would be butter and coconut oil for cooking or just on your foods. Avocados, extra virgin olive oil, nuts, seeds, egg yolks you mentioned before, and I think that covers most of them all. Yeah, and then the fish oils. Obviously not cooking with those, but those are the fats that you want to be consuming in your diet. The fats that you do not want to be consuming are all vegetable oils, the corn, soy, canola, safflower, sunflower, all margarines, all shortenings, and any food or processed food that has trans fatty acids in it. I can keep going here, but I don't think I want to bore you guys with any more. But maybe I'll just do a couple more points here. Cholesterol is also a healing agent in the body. Okay. So when the body has some healing jobs to do, it produces cholesterol and sends it to the site of damage. So that was the point, or if you listen to the last video when I talked about how important it is to make sure that we're not consuming these damaged oils or these damaged, trans fatty acids, which cause scarring and damage in your blood vessel, which cause your liver to send cholesterol to that area. And not because the cholesterol is a problem, but because it has to repair and fix up the damage that's caused by those vegetable oils. So that's why with people that eat a lot of vegetable oil or those types of foods, why they see a high level of cholesterol. It's not the cholesterol that's the problem, it's the vegetable oil that they're consuming. Just to kind of expound upon it a little bit further, she goes into a good description here. She says, any damaging agent we are exposed to will finish up in our bloodstream. Whether it is a toxic chemical, an infectious organism, a free radical, or anything else, once it is in the blood, what is it going to attack first? The endothelium, of course. The endothelium is the lining, on the inside of the blood vessel. It's the cell walls, pretty much. The endothelium immediately sends a message to the liver. Whenever our liver receives a signal that a wound has been inflicted upon the endothelium, again that inner lining, somewhere in our vascular system, it gets into gear and sends cholesterol to the site of the damage in a shuttle. Okay, it sends the cholesterol in a shuttle in the form of LDL cholesterol, or the so-called bad cholesterol. When the wound heals and the cholesterol is removed, it travels back to the liver in the form of HDL, or high-density lipoprotein cholesterol. Because this cholesterol travels away from the artery back to the liver, our misguided science, as she quotes, called it good cholesterol. This is like calling an ambulance traveling from the base or the hospital to the patient a bad ambulance, and the one traveling from the patient back to the base or the hospital a good ambulance. So it's not the cholesterol that's the problem. The cholesterol is like the ambulance. It's doing good. The problem is the damaged foods we're eating. It's the atherosclerosis, all that kind of stuff. So she says, why does the liver send cholesterol to the site of the injury? Because the body cannot clear the infection, remove the toxic elements, or heal the wound without cholesterol and fats. Maybe I'll just hold it off there for a bit. It's been about 20 minutes of video, so I hope this has been helping you. I hope it's been encouraging you. It's definitely been encouraging me, and I hope that we can get this word out to a lot more people. Feel free to share this video with family and friends. Maybe your family and friends are taking cholesterol-lowering drugs, or they're avoiding fatty foods or cholesterol in itself because they think it's bad for them. So definitely help as many people as we can to eat properly, so that we can live long and live strong. So until the next video, eat that butter and drink those egg yolks, or eat those egg yolks. Talk to you later.